Hello and welcome back to another wonderful week of football, y'all. Now, last week we've had some pretty interesting matchups going on. Just look at this. You had the lowest scoring team, St. Cloud Cowboys from last week, just completely annihilate the highest scoring team from last week in David, Team Golfins here. It's just a crazy week of football with the injuries and all this talk of Adrian Peterson and Ray Rice and all this craziness going on in the league. And not only does it affect the National Football League, but it has been affecting fantasy leagues all around the globe here. So without further ado, I invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's breakdown. Now, what we're going to get into here are next week's matchups. All right, first off, we have here me against Jason. Yes, me against Jason. The champ did suffer his first loss last week in the simple matter of a kicker having -3 points. If the kicker put up a goose egg, I would have won. But no, he had to give me -3 points. Yeah. All right. So, good to Gary, to Uncle Sam's misguided child there. Good on you. Good on you for winning there. So me against Jason here. Now we got our quarterbacks here. Cam Newton going against Colin Kaepernick here. I watched Kaepernick in the last game. Wasn't that impressed? Couple of picks were put in there, and I'm sure that hurt you last week too. So with that being said, Jamal Charles, questionable. Big injury, Jamal Charles. Greg Hardy suspended, so you've got some fixing to do there. But the simple fact is, you've got a lot of people on your injury here. Charles, Vontez, Eric Berry, all questionable. And Jamal Charles with the high ankle sprain, I just don't see it happening there. But you do have his backup, which is a good handcuff, now Davis. So good on you for that one, Chief. Good on you for that one. So right now we are going to go ahead and we're going to move on to the next one. All right, this one is going to be Mr. Team Big Sauce versus the St. Cloud Cowboys. All right, let's see if Cowboys can pull out another big win with Tony Romo. Not the biggest fan of Romo here, but he does have it up on Team Big Sauce here. If you take a quick look, you can see you have Justin Forsett. Not a big fan. You got Bobby Rainey. Put Bobby Rainey in. All right, you got Brandon Marshall. You got Des Bryant. Okay. All right, I don't really know who Brian Quick is, but the fact is you got Bobby Rainey sitting on your bench. Doug Martin, not going to happen this year for you, buddy. I think Doug Martin's going to lose his job. You got it up. Put Bobby Rainey in. All right, now you got to go against Gronkowski, who is questionable with an injury. You got Andre Ellington, still questionable with that injury, but he did put up some decent numbers. Didn't score a touchdown, but I think it's only a matter of time before he does. And if he continues to play, even though he's questionable, I could see Andre Ellington pulling out some big ones here. All right, so he's also got Alan Hearns. I warned you about Hearns last week. Even though he put up big numbers, I warned you not to go get him. What'd you do? You went and got him, and how'd he do? Nothing. And now he's also injured. All right, moving on. We've got the next matchup. Uncle Sam's misguided child. Who took down the champ? Who did take down the champ? Barely. By a minimal margin, but it was still done. Good on you for that one. But he is going up against Shoes No Socks, miscarried the bill. And we've got our quarterback situation, Manning Cutler. You know what? Cutler, I did not expect him to throw 3 TDs to Brandon Marshall like that. Kind of mad he did. But those are the things he can do, which is good. But you still got to go up against Peyton Manning throwing it now back with Wes Welker, Emmanuel Sanders, Julius Thomas, Demaryius Thomas. But you got Brandon Marshall, Alshon Jeffrey on the other side, and Martellus Bennett also on the other side, and Matt Forte. It's going to be a back and forth there. So that's going to be a good little matchup. We are really curious how this one's going to work out. And then you've got Shane Vereen, Stephen Ridley. Now, nobody knows really why Shane Vereen wasn't played last week, but apparently he suffered some sort of an injury here. Not entirely sure, but according to this, it says it's a shoulder injury. Doesn't really specify if it was an AC thing and his rotator cuff. Not sure exactly, but it just said shoulder. So that could explain why Stephen Ridley had the 25 touches that he did and the 101 yards that he did. So with that being said, what did Uncle Sam Smith Godchild do? Went and picked up Stephen Ridley. Okay, I can see it, but be careful. He is a fumbler. He does not know how to hold on to that ball quite often. And you still got Doug Martin in there. Questionable still. I just don't know. I don't know what you're gonna do. You're running out of running backs here, buddy. You've got two on the same team. You have no replacements for them when it comes bye week time. I don't know what you're gonna do here. MJD is worthless. He's just completely and utterly worthless. Doug Martin is starting to prove to be utterly worthless. I don't know what you're going to do, dude. Got to get on that waiver wire. Bro. You've got some work to do there. You took me down, but only by a slim margin. Can you do that against Kara? I don't think so. But we'll see. We shall see. Moving on. Our next matchup here is Team Brett and Charge It. Charge It going with the win against her son Jason. Good on you, Mom. Good on you. Team Brett here suffering some serious injuries. Robert Griffin III out. AJ Green out. Ben Tate still out. Mark Ingram out. He suffered some major losses here this week. And now Antonio Gates is questionable too. This is an injury prone team you got here, buddy. I don't know what to say. I really don't. Looking at her, she's got nobody injured, But truth be told, she doesn't have a strong team. She's got Rashad Jennings, Reggie Bush, Ryan Matthews out for a long time. So her one top running back is out. Now she's stuck with the Reggie Bush and Rashad Jennings. And this is going to be an interesting matchup. I think this is going to come down to defensive players. And if anybody tells you that one person on the team doesn't mean a whole lot, they're wrong. All right? Because one person can change the whole thing. Look at the kicker I had. -3 points that I gave me. But remember, every position is important. Take a look at it. Look at the matchups. All right. Go out and fix it. Do what you need to do. All right. Take a real strong look at all the players you got in the positions they're in, and then judge whether or not that's worth it. So in that matchup there, it's going to be a tough one for me, but I'm going to have to go with Mr. Brett Howell with the Jordy Nelson. We'll see. We shall see. Moving on, we got golf fans needing a redemption game here, going up against James. Going up against James. All right, we have Russell Wilson, Matthew Stafford. Interesting. Giovanni Le'Veon. Interesting. This is going to be a good matchup. Darren McFadden, Eddie Lacy. Darren McFadden not worth a whole lot, but Eddie Lacy hasn't really been putting up those big numbers he was projected to be putting up. But again, Calvin Johnson, Andre Johnson, Julia Edelman, questionable on this man's team. Yes, very questionable. Couple of notable injuries. Deshaun Jackson on James's team and Julian Edelman. And you got Vernon Davis on David's team. Very questionable. See why he went out and picked up Zach Miller. Okay. All right. Man, I don't know. That's going to be a toughie. That's a tough one to choose from right there. It's a lot of back and forth. I think this one's going to come down to that single player again. And I'm going to have to go with David. I'm going to have to go with David on this one. I see redemption in his future. So I'm going to go with David on that one. Next up and final matchup, Hail Mary Fan Club going against Team Soup Sandwich here. Team Soup Sandwich pulled out a nice win last week. Good on you, 2-0. Fantastic, fantastic. Still, Hail Mary Fan Club looking for the first win here. He needs a first win. He went out and picked up another quarterback. He went out and picked up Mr. Kirk Cousins. I'm guessing he's leaving Brady on the bench. He's going to have Brady ride the bench here, which is, you know what? Not upset about that one. Not upset about that one at all. But big question mark going under here. You've got Marshawn Lynch with the big Q on him, man. He got a back injury or ankle injury or something like that. He went out of the game. You got Monte Ball, I like it, going against Matt Forte. I think that's kind of a split. They project Monte Ball better. Excuse me. But a couple of big a couple of big injury reports on Mr. Soup Sandwich here. You got Eric Decker, who went out. Kyle Rudolph is probable. I'm not worried about that one. You got Paul. You got your good defensive player, Paul Lindsay, who's very questionable, and Tavon Austin out. I like the matchup here. It's really good. You know, Reggie Wayne, Randall Cobb, but I'm going to go with Soup Sandwich on this one. I am. I just think Breeze is, well, obviously Breeze is a better quarterback than Kirk Cousins, and I think his running backs are stronger with Foster and Forte in there. You know, so it's Soup Sandwich for me on that one. So just a couple of notes here. You need to watch the waiver wire. I mean, things change day in and day out. Players are getting arrested left and right this season. I don't know what's going on. You know, Adrian Peterson was back. Now Adrian Peterson's gone. I mean, I don't know what to say about all that. It's a crazy week in football, y'all. It's a crazy week of football. So let's keep our eyes open. Let's get on that waiver wire. Let's fix our teams. I know I had to fix mine. That stupid freaking kicker. But the waiver wire was hot this morning. People were picking up people left and right. So right now I say, be strong, take pains. Until next time, adieu.